You sure?
I don't know if it's going to be that carpet up.
So I know a lot of people will probably kill me for saying that, but yeah. So we are up north. Jake, my wife Hannah, sorting out our HMO student lets. It's that time of year where the old students move out and the new ones move in, and unlike longer term tenants, as you can imagine with students, the houses need a bit more work and they move out every year. So we've also buying another one at the moment through a new limited company. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what it is that I'm doing with regards to buying houses now, because there's a new section, something called Section 24 that's coming, which has changed the tax incentives with buy-to-lets and HMOs, which means that if you buy them privately, you can't write off the interest on your mortgages. So I'll talk a little bit about that today. Filming at the moment, we're just in one of our HMOs at the moment, dressing it up, ready for photos. Jake is doing a good job. We're doing some video combined with pictures. Obviously we've already got the next students moving in, but this is for the students the year after, so we always try to, between renting out the houses and the period in which we clean the house, we try and get up-to-date photos, because during that period we're doing maintenance. We've got new kitchens going in, new carpets going in. We've got to go to another one later on and rip out the carpets, so me and Jake will do that later. We'll get a bit of footage of that.
Post-gym,
which will always be good.
Second session.
I'm not very good at decorating. Well, I'm good at the design side, but actually doing it, I don't really have the patience, but we'll get there. It's not the most fun in the world, so I'm up here for a week, but we get to train with Jake, we get to eat and just focus on this.
Yeah, big sessions at Strength.
Big sessions at Strength as well.
Ultra sessions.
So yeah, we'll video some bit, and I'll talk a little bit about what it is that I'm doing and how I'm going to be building my portfolio going forward, and kind of what it is that, if you're trying to get into it, what you need to be thinking about now. I'm not a massive expert, but I know from my particular area of what I do, I kind of know the ins and outs in terms of licensed, non-licensed HMOs, fire regs, etc. I won't go into huge amounts of details, but hopefully I can give some insight into what I'm doing and how I'm building my portfolio.
That is when you know a bulk is needed.
Damn. Going to one of my other student lets at the moment. Hannah's already there, she left a bit early. Got a new door being fitted, and Jake and I are going to have to rip out the carpets because we've got new carpets going in before the new students arrive. Basically as I said before, every kind of end of every year we kind of renovate everything to make sure that everything's in good standing. Like, as a landlord, I think even if you're renting out to students, because I know people are like, oh, it's only students, you need to make it feel as comfortable as possible for the students. And ultimately we get a lot of referrals, we get a lot of students referring their friends because we're good landlords, we think, or try to be at least, which ultimately I want them to have a nice experience. I don't want to be one of these cowboy landlords that's ripping people off or like making it uncomfortable just to save a few quid, because ultimately you won't end up renting the house out either. And what we've also noticed as well is when we tend to keep the house a bit nicer and we do it up, the students on the whole do tend to, touch wood, keep the house in better standing. And I think at the end of the day, people show you respect if you respect them, and that's kind of how I like to run our properties, and so far it's done us pretty well. There's a lot of regulatory changes at the moment with HMOs and HMOs particularly. So basically a HMO is, you buy a house and you rent out each room individually, so either to students or working professionals or anyone really, but they tend to be the two main things that people do it with. The local councils all have different rules, but they're starting to ask them to be licensed, which means you have to conform to certain regulations. You have to pay for a license every year, which is actually, it's working out quite well for us, because we stay on top of all the licensing rules. We make sure that we only buy houses with the right room sizes. We make sure that we overspec to regs, so like we make sure that all, even if we don't need to have things like fire doors and stuff like that, we make sure we put them in. So look, the whole idea is a lot of landlords are getting up in arms about all the new regulatory changes that are going in, but ultimately it's looking after the tenant, which I don't have an issue with. Yeah, it's a little bit more expensive, but they're trying to cut out cowboy landlords, which in my opinion is good. And the good thing about it is there's a lot of houses coming up to market now, because a lot of landlords who have big portfolios that don't conform to regs, and then they've had to suddenly get a license, are selling up their portfolios, which is freeing up a lot of local assets, which is good for us. I also touched earlier on Section 24. Section 24 is a new rule, which, well, not new actually, it came out about 4 years ago, which meant that private individuals can't write off their interest on their mortgage as a taxable expense. So for example, if the interest on your mortgage was £300 a month, before you could claim that against your profit, and it can obviously increase against your revenue, increase your profit levels because you had a bigger expense. Now that's changed, they've taken that out. As of this year, that ends. So a lot of people are unhappy about that, but if you buy through a limited company now, which used to be quite difficult, but it's pretty easy now. There's lots of lenders that lend to limited companies. There's way better tax incentives, and I actually prefer it because I'm used to running businesses anyway. I understand how that works, already got the accountants in place. If anyone's interested in that, drop me a message, because I'm more than happy to talk about it, or if you want me to go into more depth of this stuff. I don't want to go too OTT with all the kind of policies and everything else, but yeah, I'll stop boring you. We'll get to the house, we'll get some footage of what we're doing, and hope you enjoy. I just wanted to say as well, it's new training day for Jake.
I knew you were going to do that. As soon as I handed over the camera, I knew you were going to look at these.
What are those?
Carpet on carpet.
Have they?
I don't know if we have to pull that carpet up.
That's what happened in Princess Road, isn't it? What's underneath this carpet? We need to get rid of all this stuff up here.
Okay. Well, throw it in the back of the.
What the fuck is that?
It's a wine glass.
Spider.
See, students won't even know what this is. So with wine, it's all about airing. I'm not a pretentious wine drinker, by the way. Hannah's bought me these, so I looked into it. So with wine, you want to get, especially red wine, you want as much surface area, so it brings out the flavour in the wine.
That's quite mad. I had no idea.
Yeah, so big wide glasses.
So
like 5 clients as well, so it's like, oh, this is a great idea.
5 clients? How have you gone out?
On the site, got over 100. So
That's decent. That's very, very decent.
I've got I'm doing 80 at the minute. Literally, what am I doing? It's like 8 hours. It's 8 hours.
You got decent internet then?
Yeah, oh god, yeah. It must be good. Hours.
You just sit there chatting to the camera?
That's how.
It's absolutely unreal service, but like, as I say to a lot of people, like when you scale, it's very difficult to keep that element of personality as your business is big. There has to be, as much as you don't want to sacrifice some of those things, like unfortunately you do if you really want to scale it up a level. So I know like Jordan, everyone that I've done work with before and everything else, like what you try and do is obviously make it as personal as possible, but with the ability to increase your capacity. Mate, you can't do that. I don't know, anyway, no one else does that, do they? I'm not, what are you putting back in? Like, what's your reinvestment rate? Nothing.
Yeah.
If you can't afford to run a business by putting most of your profits back in, you probably shouldn't be starting your own business to start with. Like, you're better off working with someone else, saving enough money to then plough money in, because as you know, starting your own business is not easy. I don't care. The traction initially is hard.
Yeah.
I'm going to want to make that more efficient, so it could even be you get to an app stage, or like it'll evolve basically as and when you need it to. That's a good thing about digital stuff though, because obviously the way you're doing it at the moment you're kind of fixed. With that platform we can kind of custom code in anything that you're like, well, this isn't really working here, like let's change it to this, let's make it more efficient here. We can save in, I mean, you're going to get to the point where you're like, I need to save if I can shave off 2 minutes per check-in and make it slightly more efficient for them, you're like, well, all of a sudden I'll save 200 minutes today. That's a lot of time. If I've saved hours today by shaving off that amount, and then your service is better because of it. Do you ever want to bring in any other personal trainers, or are you going to keep it just you two?
My room's a bit of a lost cause. I don't think I would, you know.
Keep it under your brand, your name, control. The sky's the limit with that though. Relations by basically saying, look, there's cut-off hours. Because initially I was like, I'm an open book, it's 24 hours, and I was like, look, I was like, oh my god, they're paying me a lot. Like, I've got big clients pay me £1,000 every month to handle all of their work, and I'm like, oh, if I tell them like I'm not available at 3 o'clock on a Sunday morning, they might. And I was like, hang on a minute, like they're human beings as well. They understand that like we have a life. So I was like, right, WhatsApp hours from this time to this time. I won't reply after that. If you email me, it's urgent. Like you can phone me at any point. If there's anything major, like I'll pick up the phone. Like of course, but like there's going to be a period during the day I go to the gym, so everyone knows I go to the gym 12:30. So I basically was like, that was the thing I was most scared of. I was like, because I like going to the gym midday. I was like, if I tell people I'm going off to the gym midday, they're going to have a problem. And I spoke to Hannah, she was like, but you're up till 1 o'clock in the morning sometimes working. I don't think none of them had a problem. Yeah. No one. When I've been grinding day in, day out at work to build a better life for me and my family, hungry and I'm tired, I still have massive goals in the gym. I still have to give it everything like I would do my business, 100%. That's why I use PX1 every single day. It gives me the pump, the focus, and the drive required to optimize each and every workout.
Feeling great, feeling fire in my brain, feeling sane, and it's always just a flame, 45 to my brain, praying more, please fail, no glory.
Wrapped up push and we're off to my favourite restaurant in Stoke, Gusto's, which is like, in my opinion, a better version of Nando's. I know a lot of people will probably kill me for saying that, but the chicken's awesome. How did you find that, Jake?
Wicked.
Absolutely murdered me, to be fair. I'm officially done with dieting, I think, because I'm not competing. I've got lean, but I'm getting to the point now where I'm noticing my body's flattening out quite a lot. So I think after having chatted to Cameron, he said as well, like it'd be a good time now to to do like a 6 to 8 week growth phase, really rebound out and start looking and feeling a bit better. Yeah. So.
But you haven't been taking this diet half-hearted either.
No, I've been hitting the diet pretty hard.
Excess of what?
Huh?
3 months? 4 months? 5?
Yeah, 3-4 months.
It's a long time. Been digging deep.
Yeah, it's been hard, but I've done it for no reason really, other than just because I want to.
So now would be a good time to really push out.
Yeah.
Make some.
Enjoy it. Get big, strong. We got some good lifts today, actually. Got some good lifts today.
70s went up.
70s went up. It's only because Cameron bopped out the 65s before me, so naturally I had to try and pull something out of the bag. Jake, what did you do? 52 and a half?
52s.
That's big.
4. Weak as fuck compared to both of you.
Yeah, but
I'll take it.
You're half the weight. I mean, how much do you weigh?
86 and a half.
86 and a half. I mean, pretty damn good for 18-year-old. Strong.
Getting there.
Oh, traffic's fucking awful. Sucks. Actually chat to, I'm not sure how good quality the audio was, but I'm going to chat to Cameron a bit more about his site that we're building. As he mentioned earlier, he's got over 100 PT clients now, which is crazy good. And he's currently doing check-ins with YouTube. So every single person that he checks in with every week. He does a YouTube video for, which he's stopping when we build the new software because he needs to scale it a lot better. Because he's got no time. It's not efficient. So I'm developing a custom check-in system, like we mentioned before, for him, so that he can answer via email or log in onto the site, and it will stop people. He said he's got a lot of people on his WhatsApp, which I've made the mistake with in the past of giving everyone that I work with my WhatsApp number, so you never end up getting away from work, because people use WhatsApp like it's an open forum to message you whenever. So if you want some sort of work-life balance, then give people a set platform to message you on and set time frames of when you're going to message them back. And to be honest, it won't hinder your business. If anything, it'll probably help it, because when you don't reply to people that message you at like 12 o'clock at night, they get annoyed. But when they know that they only message you between the hours of 9 and 6 in the evening, 9 in the morning, 6 in the evening, they're happier because they know that you're going to reply within that time period. So in terms of scaling and stress, definitely set boundaries with a lot of your clients, especially if you're trying to get bigger, and that will really help. So yeah, see you at Gusto's. Yo.
Right. I'll be able to find 100 hours a day to do some check-ins. Went to upload the first one, it took like 3 hours to upload a video. I was like, I can't do that for 60 clients. It was only like 60 at the time as well, so now it's up at like 80. I just couldn't physically do it.
Now that when I was like 13, I was like, I need to do everything online. I was like, because you're so restricted. I mean, you're restricting yourself with the videos because you're really capping your hours per day.
Even Josh says to me, doesn't he? He says, I can't believe I do the videos.
I can't believe you do that many.
You can't believe you do the videos for what I charge as well.
You should video yourself like doing that, just to show people what you've been doing, because I don't think anyone will believe it.
No.
You need to get that out there, man, because that's kind of a cool marketing.
It's like AJ Morris, when he does the videos,
His though, and he caps it like 50 and then ups his price.
But he charges like $250 a month for it, so his videos are merited.
Right.
Whereas
that's why I said you could look at tiering it.
Yeah, 100%.
And I would say probably more for your prep clients.
Yeah, I think that's the only tier that I can
have prep and non.
Yeah. I think the one scale of online coaching I've got at the minute is it's quite well reciprocated by anyone that asks.
But I suppose the good thing about the prep clients is they probably give you very good before and afters and stuff like that.
Oh, 100%. Even if they don't place or anything, it's just
they're good validation. Good validation.
Yeah. I think the hardest bit was building up that portfolio. But now, if someone says to me, "Oh, but you used to do video check-ins," I was like, "Yeah, I don't anymore, but this is the results I get." I'm hoping people just go, "Oh shit, fabulous."
And you're getting yourself into shape. So I mean, you've got a lot of validation there. Yeah, there's tons. I see people like, obviously you repost a lot. People sing you crazy all the time. So the sky's the limit. I think you're doing really well.